Hi everyone, this is Dr. Nitin Chhoda with Ignition Time and welcome to my channel, folks. For the poorest 20% of our fellow Americans, the American Rescue Plan, the $1.9 trillion package from President Biden, is going to lead to a 33% increase in annual income. Yup, you heard that right, 33% increase in annual income. On your screen, you'll see a tweet from Jeff Stein from the Washington Post. And Jeff reports on some information from the Institute on Taxation and Economic Policy. And Jeff reports that for the poorest 20% of our fellow Americans, those who make less than $21,000 a year in annual income, the House Democrats' big three anti poverty measures, which include stimulus checks, money for children. We're talking about child credits, specifically nutrition credits and other credits, as well as the earned income tax credit, amount to a 33% increase, folks, in annual income, according to new data from the Institute on Taxation and Economic Policy. Jeff also reports, and you'll see his next tweet, it seems like many people don't realize that the average income for the poorest 20% of our fellow Americans is roughly $10,000. Yep, roughly $10,000 in annual income for the poorest 20% of our fellow Americans. So let's say you're amongst the poorest 20% of our fellow Americans and you're a family of four. Based on the Biden stimulus plan, the family of four would get $1,400 multiplied by four, which is $5,600 for this family. So folks, let's show you a page from the website of the Institute on Taxation and Economic Policy, and you'll see the headline. It reads details of House Democrats' cash payments and tax credit expansions. So folks, let's take a look at this first figure. We'll put this figure up on your screen, and this figure shows you the average impacts of the proposals. Right now there's a proposal from the Ways and Means Committee from the Democrats, and how it impacts families as a share of their income in 2020. Now we're making some assumptions here because it's quite likely that the 2020 income for most families is actually lower than it was in 2019 as a direct result of this pandemic. So folks, let's take a look at the bottom 20% of our fellow Americans. So as you can see on this chart, the bottom 20% of our fellow Americans have an average annual income of $10,900. For the bottom 20%, the proposed expansion of the child tax credit would increase income by an average of 9.7%. The expansion of the child tax credit alone would increase average income by 9.7%. And folks, take a look at the number of 20.3% for cash payments. Let's assume there's just two people in the family. They would receive $2,800. That's where the 20.3% comes from as a percentage of their overall income, the $10,900. If it's a family of four, that number for cash payments goes even higher. So conservative estimates, the economic impact payments, cash payments, the third stimulus checks, adds 20.3% to the income of the bottom 20% of our fellow Americans, as you can see on the chart on your screen. The child tax credit adds another almost 10%. The earned income tax credit adds almost 3%, which results in an overall increase in the annual revenue by 33% for the poorest 20% of our fellow Americans. Now, folks, this is also very important. The Democrats have a proposed expansion of the child tax credits. Now, this would send eligible families $3,000 for children age 6 through 17 and $3,600 for children under the age of 6. Now, this would be paid out over the course of 12 months, and these amounts would be phased out as income approaches and then exceeds $150,000 for joint filers, $112,500 for head of households, and $75,000 for those who file as a single individual. I'll provide you with links to articles in the description section below so you can dig deeper into this and get answers to your frequently asked questions. Now, there's another thing, folks. Democrats are also pushing for a significant but temporary expansion of the earned income tax credit. What this would do is this would nearly triple the size of the maximum benefit for individuals without children who are filing. So the benefits would increase from $534 all the way up to $1,502 and widen the eligibility requirements to include individuals under the age of 25 and over the age of 65. So this would significantly expand that safety net, if you will. So folks, what's the bottom line with all this? The bottom line with all this is the current proposal from the Democrats helps those who are the most vulnerable amongst us. Individuals in travel, leisure, entertainment, and hospitality have lost their jobs, in some cases permanently. Also, I want our viewers and subscribers to understand that long-term unemployment is on the rise. Individuals who've been unemployed for 6 months or more, a family of four individuals, adults and let's say two dependent children, would need all the help they can get in this situation. Now, I do want our viewers and subscribers to understand one thing that is very, very important despite all of this. Let's wait until this whole thing, which is a proposal, becomes a bill and then gets signed into law. So remember, there's a proposal, which then becomes a bill. And then once President Biden signs it up there, then it becomes law. Until it's signed by the president, it's not law. It's very possible that things can change between now and the first week of March. Folks, this kind of legislation with the budget reconciliation process requires a simple majority with the Democrats. That is a good thing, because that means without a single Republican vote, the Democrats, if they want, can pass this and can help those who are the most vulnerable amongst us. Now, will Republicans be unhappy? Of course they will. That's how reconciliation works. Reconciliation was used by the Republicans to pass the massive tax cuts in 2017. So it is a double-edged sword, and whenever one party uses it, the other party complains. But the one thing that's super important for our viewers and subscribers to understand is that because Democrats have 50 seats in the Senate, they cannot afford to lose a single seat. They cannot afford to lose a single senator when it comes to voting for this package. They cannot afford to lose someone like Joe Manchin, the conservative Democrat from West Virginia. They need every single vote that they can get, including the tiebreaker vote from Vice President Kamala Harris. There she is. Hello, Vice President. So keep in mind that right now we're in a situation where the Democrats are trying to craft a proposal which helps the most vulnerable amongst us. Is it overshooting in some ways, folks? Everything overshoots in some ways. Usually, when progressives get behind a liberal agenda, it's too liberal, and then conservatives tend to be too conservative. Hopefully, we can find a middle ground that makes sense for most of us. There is no such thing as a perfect plan. Let's hope that the most vulnerable amongst us, let's put that table back up on your screen, the first figure. Take a look at the bottom 20% of our fellow Americans by way of income. Let's hope that the most vulnerable amongst us get the help that they need and can survive this crisis, both financially as well as hopefully mentally, and can keep a roof over their heads, put food on the table, keep the lights on, and pay rent. Because at the end of the day, that's what our fellow Americans need, and we should be able to help others if we can. I hope you learned something new from this video. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you. Please click like, please subscribe, please enable notifications. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next episode of Ignition Time. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.